Hey guys, Arbiter GFATM here, Kid G5WQ, once again with another object that was seen in the other video, but I didn't explain it. This is a CW, aka Morse code test set, United States Army test set I-51A, CW, Signal Cores, 32532 PH 4555. So I first bought it. I thought it was cool. I had no intention of bringing it back to life because I didn't think it was usable. So if you take a look in here, if I can get that open, probably need my knife. But anyways, pretty hollow. Not much in there. Actually, there's nothing in there. So I took it up for loss, and I figured, you know what? Since I'm into ham radio, I can make a cool looking radio out of this thing. Well, I was wrong. I forgot to look in this compartment. So let's see what's in here. Turns out, this is a portable test set for CW. Okay. So there's some parts in here I'm not familiar with. This is a step-up transformer, obviously. This one I'm not too sure about. It's got multiple different levels, all hand soldered. I'm assuming this is probably 1930s tech. Now, the reason there's nothing in this spot, here I'll turn it towards the light. So the reason there's nothing in this spot, this is where that circuit board sits. Now you can see there's corrosion, alright? And there's circles at the bottom. So my first thought was capacitors, but then this is kind of a battery acid. So I did some digging, and this thing used 23A 1.5 volt batteries. And it says it, shoot. It says it right there. If it's gonna focus in for me. There we go. Right on the bottom there. So that's 6 volts from giant batteries back in the day. Well, it's not back in the day anymore. This is the year 2015. We have D batteries, and we have 12 volts DC. Sorry about my dog. She's crying over there. But, so, that got me thinking, well, I bet you I can get this thing going. I just messed around with it a little bit, and here's what I came up with. Kind of odd how it works. So, I got a speaker on here. This is made to go onto some sort of line to test. And your sound would come through based on how it would test positive or negative for water leaks, stuff like that. This is basically this is a 1930s version of a coaxial tester. So, quite interesting. My dog is driving me absolutely insane. Alright, had to let the dog out. But anyways, so we got our, so I decided, you know what, probably rig up, this runs on 6 volts, so let's throw 6 volts on it and see what happens. Okay, so after these 6 volts is inserted from a little rectifier I have, right there, from Radio Shack, I got a speaker going on the output. It's a little speaker. This actually came with it. Tiny little thing. There's a lot of voltage coming out of these things. On my little voltmeter, it registered about 400. So I'm not going to touch those. But here's the interesting part. Interesting, isn't it? It's a tester, but it does do Morse code as well. I do plan to get this thing actually working again. I'm going to put my little kicks in it. But I'm going to put a 6-volt lithium battery in here nowadays because you don't have those big cells that they had back then. And then this is for a user manual and testing logs. So no equipment goes in there. But I still love how it has all these circuitry on it. This at one time had the date on it. It does no longer. But it's still a really, really cool piece of history. Thank God I kind of saved it from where it was going. It was kind of just laying on the ground and nobody was taking care of it. But yeah, pretty cool. I mean, I know it's not used for that. It's not supposed to be used for that. But hey, for what I'm using it for, that works. I'm going to plan to extend that line and make some sort of a transmitting station with it. But yeah, as for CW, this is probably where I'm going to get started using CW. But I'll see you guys later. Hope you enjoyed the video. Always glad to share a piece of history with whoever's watching. KG5IWQ, clear for now, 73.